going on, guys? It's the Pokebros here. I'm Angel, and today I'm gonna be doing a little explanation video um, on how to create a Pokemon deck. I'm thinking this is gonna be a two-part video. One, this is gonna be like the very basic on how to create a Pokemon deck, and the next video I'm thinking just gonna divide it to the very basic to the little more advanced on how to make a deck. This is gonna be like the really basic, like you're really just starting with Pokemon and you don't know pretty much any of the rules. So first, alright, this will be a three-part video. This will be on how to create a basic deck. Next video will be how to create a more advanced deck, and the third video will be a little more into the rules and how to play. But pretty much to start out, you need to have a 60 card deck. You can have no more or no less than 60 cards. It has to be a combination of Pokemon, items, and energy. You're not required. You're not required to have anything, but the only thing you're required is to have one basic Pokemon. As you guys can see, you're required to at least have one. I don't know, people do that where in fact they only run one. You obviously want to run energy, because without energy you cannot attack. Therefore, you can't really do anything nor win the game. You run items more for support, you know, just to help you out, because literally you won't get a perfect hand, and even if you do, a perfect hand does require items. So kind of want to teach you guys, if you guys don't know the different cards. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but the three different cards would be a energy, a trainer card, and obviously a Pokemon. So these are the three different types of card in the game. Energy, there's just every energy. It's not like the video game where there's, you know, ground, rock types and stuff. They're actually compressed all into, I believe it's hold up. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's all compressed into 11 types. As you guys can see, these are the 11 types. This would be normal, grass, fire, water, electric, psychic. Fighting is what compresses a lot of the game. It's pretty much, these are all your ground type Pokemon, rock type Pokemon, and your fighting type Pokemon. And psychic would be just ghost and psychic type Pokemon, obviously dark, steel, fairy, and dragon. So those are the different type of energies you can run. The only thing, there's no dragon energies, as you guys can see from this Latios EX. Dragons actually just take two different types of energy, so there's no such thing as a dragon energy, so he just uses psychic and water. Other than that, Pokemon, the different types of Pokemon, I'll get that first, if I could find it. Well, I don't think I have one of those cards with me. Okay, so you have your obvious basic Pokemon. I don't have the evolution to Clamperl though, so we're just gonna be doing. Actually, I have a perfect evolution line right here. Let me just get it out. Let's see. Can't find the last Pokemon to this line. There you go. Sorry, I was a little unprepared. And let me see. I'll just get one of these out. Alright, so so you have your obvious basic type Pokemon. This you can actually just let me just pretend this is like your field. You can actually just place this down, and after one turn, if you do have the evolution to the card, after one turn of being placed down, you can evolve that Pokemon, which means you get this HP. But if, let's say, you have damage counters already, it does continue. So let's say you have an 80 HP Rhyhorn, right? But let's say you get like tackled or something, wave splash for 20, without weakness nor resistance. So you have 60 HP left. So you evolve into Rhydon. You still take that 20 damage. So instead of having 100, you have 80 now. Because if you do 100 minus 20, you get 80. Because the damage still goes on. Let's say you get tackled. Let's say they don't even tackle, and you have a Rhyperior and you evolve. So you still take the extra 20, not extra, you still take the 20 damage with you. So now this Rhyperior, instead of having 160, has 140. You have to wait one turn. Okay, so you place it down and you don't, let's say you end your turn. Let's say he hasn't been knocked out, so you can evolve. And you have to wait another turn before evolving. So you end your turn, they end their turn, and then it's back to your turn. You can evolve if your Rhydon hasn't been knocked out. So these are non-EX Pokemon, so if they get knocked out, it counts as one prize card. But EX cards such as this Groudon EX, all EX cards have the Pokemon EX rule. So it's not focusing. Well, I'll kind of read it for you guys. It says, when a Pokemon EX has been knocked out, your opponent takes 2 prizes. So the difference between EXs is, one, they have way more HP, some of them. So this is a stage 2 Pokemon and it has 160. This is a basic Pokemon with 180. And some Pokemon do have their Megas version, but I don't have any Mega cards, and you can pretty much evolve them and they'll have like 220 or something HP. So those are the different types of Pokemon: basic, stage 1, stage 2, and EX. I wish I had a Mega EX for you guys. And obviously the new type of card that came out, the Ancient Trade, they just have a somewhat of a ability. There's you guys can see a little. So there's different abilities there. But now we'll get into the trainer cards. So this is a supporter, and the supporter rule says you may play only one supporter card during your turn before you attack. So that's your first type of card. You have a standard just trainer card. You can use as many of these as you guys can see right here, right there. You can play as many of these. There's different types. There's energy retrieval, Professor's Letter, and now there's tool cards. So each tool card has a specific theme. So your turn does not end if this Pokemon card is attached and it becomes Primal Caliber. So pretty much as supporters go, you just place them down. Tool cards would actually, like, let's say I had the Groudon, and yes, if I was that person, I can attach a Kyogre Spirit Link as a tool card, and that would just go onto them, and that keeps them. It stays on the Pokemon until it either gets knocked out or you get like starting Megaphone and stuff, but I'll go that into the more advanced. And lastly, you get a Stadium. That's the last type of card, which would go in towards the side, and each Stadium has its own special effect. This one says each basic Pokemon in play in each player's hand and each player's discard pile has no abilities. So pretty much 0 abilities. And yeah, very good card, very good card. So those are pretty much all the type of Pokemon items and energy. So there's pretty much every energy except for Dragon. So now on to how to create a deck. This is not really a deck. I just got 60 cards of water, grass, and colorless or normal items and some energy. So you want to stay in a mix between 60 cards. You could go 20-20-20. here's the thing. A little tip. I would say never go more than 20 cards. The only exception, I say never go more than 12 cards, 12 Pokemon in total. The only exception I have for that is Night March. Night March, you definitely run a lot of Pokemon because you get them discarded. Energy, usually decks don't run more than, I say, about 15 energy, so just think about it. This deck, this pretend deck has 10 energy, 5 grass, 5 and 5 water. And forgot to show that, but let's see if I can find one. Actually, I think I do have one. There's also a different type of energy. So this is a water energy, and this is a rainbow energy. As you guys can see, it's a special energy. Each special energy has their own thing. There's herbal energies, strong energy, double colorless energy, and I guess that would be a little more advanced, but here I just want to show you guys how to make a deck and some little tips. So items should take a majority of your deck. I always run about, I never run less than 20, never less than 30 items. That's half of your deck. I know. Maybe less than 25, because items pretty much give you the game. Supporters, I'll get into that in the next video, such as staples, you know, your junipers, your skylas, your ends. It's very important that you do that. But here I want to show you guys, you kind of do want to have a strategy, though. These are just a bunch of water Pokemon and a bunch of grass Pokemon. So this is not a really good example here. What I do have a good example is I actually have a deck. But pretty much, pick your types. Let's say you want to make, and they kind of have to correspond together. You don't really have to have a strategy, but if you do have a strategy deck, it's better for you. You can go for, you make up your own strategy for a deck, or you can go for like the actual strategies like sets come out with. For example, Night March, that's a perfect strategy. You use battle compressors and Night March users, and that would be a strategy. So another strategy is the Genesect Virizion, in which those actually correspond together. So the set was actually, you know, it was made together, like the cards were together in the same set, because that was actually meant to be a deck. And if you guys do watch the 2014 World Championships, Genesect Virizion did win that. It was a very popular deck, and it still is. It's been seen in a lot of games. But to be fair, I'm going to show you a little more advanced deck. Don't want to be mean or anything, but that deck was pretty trashy. So let me organize this deck real quick, and while I explain. So you just want to have a mix in between your Pokemon, item, and energy ratio. Again, I'm saying never run more than 15 energy, maybe 20. The only exception I have with about 20 energy would be Keldeo Blastoise, which again, there's a strategy to that, because Keldeo, for every energy you have, it does 20 more damage for every water energy, and Blastoise lets you attach a water energy as many times as you want per turn. So instead of being only able to attach one energy per turn, you're able to attach as many as you want, as long as it's in your hand. So you have to have the actual energy. So I'm almost done organizing this. Another tip or pointer I would say is never use more than 2 different types of Pokemon. The only exception to this, yes, there's many exceptions, I know, is unless that Pokemon is either a dragon type or a normal type. Normal type being because, as I'll show you guys right now, let me just close this real quick, put that back, put this deck box back. Obviously, I can run a Dragon type because there's no Dragon type energy. So if I were to make a deck out of this Latios, I would do something a little with Psychic and Water, something that combines with each other. So maybe, you know, a Mewtwo EX or an Espeon. So something around the same type. Normal Pokemon, you can do whatever you want because I can attach this fighting energy and it'd still be fun. I can attach this rainbow energy. I could attach a water energy. I can attach whatever and it'd still be fun to attack. So my only thing is you shouldn't run maybe like a grass, water, fire. There are a few exceptions into where that is actually possible, and there's actually decks like that. For example, the card Jirachi, it's not used to attack at all, and I'm sorry, there's the phone. So the card Jirachi isn't actually used to attack. It's only used for its ability. So once you place it down onto the bench, you can look for any supporter. So in that case, you know, it was used in Genesect Virizion, so that made it a Psychic because he also ran Mr. Mime, which again, you don't use it to attack, you just use it for its ability. It was used in Mr. Mime and in so yeah, it was used in Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime was used in Genesect Virizion. So Genesect Virizion deck ended up being 3 different types, none being colorless, because he ended up using those 2 cards, and they actually ended up helping him out because Mr. Mime he used for its ability, which is really good, and it's really good ability to prevent sniping, which again I'll definitely talk about in the future video, because sniping is a really good aspect in the Pokemon card game, and it's very good. So I'm almost done organizing this to kind of show you what a little more advanced deck looks like, and a thought out strategy deck, and how it can actually help you out when creating a deck, because pretty much you want to make a deck in which you can set up your Pokemon quick enough for your opponent, and you can actually start attacking as soon as possible, and it ends up really giving you the game, because it's pretty much whoever sets up and whoever, you know, starts getting the prizes first pretty much wins the game. Obviously there's comebacks and everything, but still. And I'm really almost done, just a few more cards here and done. Okay, so kind of just a little recap before I get into the advanced deck. I'm not going to go into too much detail. There's different types of Pokemon. You get your basic stage 1, stage 2, your different type of trainer cards, stadiums, tools, and just regular item cards, and you have your supporters. You also have your EX and your non-EX Pokemon. Use them wisely, because in the game, which again I'll get into the rules, the first person to draw 6 prizes wins. So that would only be 3 EXs to be knocked out and you win the game. So here's a little more. This would be a Donphan deck. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Maybe if you guys are just wanting to learn Pokemon again, you guys probably do, because this is a very popular deck as of right now. So the strategy of the deck is to use Spinning Turn or Wreck. So you would Spinning Turn into a Robo Substitute, in which this case they would have to knock out this Robo Substitute and they don't take a prize. So you can go back into Donphan and then repeat this exact same movement, etc., etc. I think you guys kind of know the strategy. And it's kind of, you know, you're preventing damage, so they can't really attack your actual Donphan. So something a strategy would be is, obviously, you got your Fanfi Donphan, right? And you have a strong energy. So this is something a strategies can be like a literally deck strategy or just some cards. So strong energy allows your fighting Pokemon to do 20 more damage. So I attach this, boom, he does 60 for one card. More strategy input, a muscle band. Attach this to Donphan, he does 80 damage for 80. Oh well, sorry. Oh my god, he does 80 damage for one energy, so that's really good. So that's pretty much as really basic strategy can be, to a little more complicated on how Donphan spinning turns into a Robo Substitute. Another strategy would be using this card, Karina, which allows you to search for a fighting Pokemon and an item. So let's say I have a Fanfi set up, and I have a strong energy, and you know I don't have a Donphan in my hand, but I do have a Karina, so I can Karina, get a Donphan because it allows me to get a fighting Pokemon, and also get a Muscle Band because I can get an item. Look at that setup! I just got a really quick setup for this Donphan. So again, strategy is just, this is pretty much all fighting Pokemon. But again, like always, exceptions, exceptions, exceptions. Well, we have a Lucario EX. This is the only EX in the deck. But we also have a Sigil. This is one of the cards that isn't meant to be used. If you're ever going against just an all EX deck, this is a perfect card because of Safeguard. You cannot be attacked by EX Pokemon. For example, Genesect Virizion. All EX. 4 Genesect, 4 Virizion, period. Unless you run a Mr. Mime, in which that case it doesn't attack because you don't run Psychic Energy. So, perfect staller. Outraged Dragons. There's Kiram. Let's see if I can find. Yep. The 3 Outragers: Kiram, Reshiram, and Zekrom. They all do pretty much. They all have the same attack, Outrage. For 2 colorless, you can do 20 plus 10 for each damage counter. They all have the same HP. So you can run whichever one. Outrage Dragons are just so good because they can go in any deck as long as you run a double colorless energy. And let's say, in this case, he has a water weakness. And you know, water Pokemon can be weakened against electric. There you can run a Zekrom. But hey, we run a Kiram in this deck because Kiram is really good. Any Outrage Dragon is really good. So you just and then you can obviously see this is how much energy we run. So we run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 energy, which is a good amount because you're running about 8 special and I believe 6 regular. And we're running here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Pokemon. And I don't want to count all these, but look at all these items against the Pokemon. So it's a really big difference. And if I even add the energy to this side, the items, it's kind of about the same amount, but the items kind of just beat the rest of the deck. So just a little recap because this minute's about 25 minutes long. Use strategy. Strategy will always help you out, even if it's just the basic strategy to a more complicated strategy such as Keldeo Blastoise or Night March or something. But if you're just starting out to make a deck, a common thing is you just want to use all power. Don't do that. For example, you really need a strategy. Let's say if you're gonna run a Garchomp because Garchomp is really good, be smart about it. Run some Altaria because Altaria allows you, to do an extra 20 damage for your Dragon Pokemon. So just always have strategy. Never run more than 2 to 3 types of Pokemon. Always run more items, period. Always run more items. And I think, balance out your EXs. Don't just run an all EX deck. You could run a non-EX deck. EXs are just really good, and they just pretty much help you win the game because they're really powerful and they really do put work into your deck. So you know that's pretty much the power you need. That's why I do run Lucario on this Donphan deck, because Lucario is a really strong EX Pokemon and it does some damage. Other than that, just be smart. Think about the Pokemon. Do they kind of do something together, such as, like, let's say a perfect example would be like Bronzong Dialga. I would show you guys, but really am running out of time and I have no idea where my Bronzong is. Actually, I found it. This will be the last example of some type of strategy I will show you guys. Kind of, a tip to get you guys going on your feet. This was released in Phantom Forces. So Dialga here, for second move, you get a discard 2 Metal Energy. Kind of let that focus. And what Bronzong does is you can, once during your turn, you may attach a Steel Energy from your discard pile. So it kind of just corresponds Aegislash, 20 for each Steel Energy. So this is a perfect strategy. This is a great example of a strategy. Again, maybe Muscle Band. There's just so many different things, but that's kind of the basics. Just balance out your trainers and your items and your energies. Try to find a strategy, and pretty much the types, and don't go overboard 3 types. And I think that's pretty much it. Stay tuned for the next video until I get a little more in-depth with strategy and staple cards and how to make your deck one of the best decks. So please leave a like and subscribe. Catch you guys later.